Now we're on to the third and final exercise of career identity and unpacking your career identity in this week's Mindset and Action Step in the Know Yourself stage. And this third and final exercise is what I refer to as career assets. Now, an asset, as you know, is something that you own, something that delivers a high value or a high return to you and appreciates with time. And it's also a resource, something that you own that nobody can legally take away from you. So a career asset then is the thing that you have done in your career, that you have controlled, that you have been responsible for, that you have done. The return of the asset is that it was a moment in your career when you felt extremely proud for having done that thing. Now, a career asset isn't just external validation. So it's not just a list of achievements. If it were that easy, I would say, tell me all your achievements, but it's not. It's going to take a little bit of deeper reflection. A career asset is by definition the thing that has made you extremely proud. It might have been an achievement. It might have been external validation when you won the Gold Chairman's Award for what. That's fine, but I want you to define, why did that make you proud? It might also be something incredibly small, something that isn't classically defined as an achievement, something that would never show up in your CV, like the tea lady acknowledged that she had a relationship with you and shared some insight about a drug addiction in her family, and you felt proud that she felt trusted and safe enough to open up and come to you. That's a real career asset, by the way, of a client of mine. So a career asset then isn't something big. It's not necessarily something small. It's everything in between. It's what you simply define as feeling proud. You were proud that you did this thing. Was it a project completion? Was it meeting a deadline? Was it pushing back to leadership? Was it mentoring somebody young? Was it achieving a big piece of work that got acknowledged in the external world? I mean, any of these things could be career assets. But the trick here and the real power is knowing what are your career assets, not what the company wants you to achieve, what the company defines as success, but what you define as success. Now, the thing about a career asset is that it's a stacking exercise. These career assets aren't just sitting waiting for us to discover them. They've been buried under years and years and years of work and CV and job interviews and achievements and all the focus on external validation, not internal validation. So the best way for you to identify a career asset is to just consider a certain time of your career, whether it was this year, last year, or a certain job or a certain project, and say to yourself, what did I do that made me feel proud? Ask yourself that question and just wait for the moment of clarity to come. This is a journaling exercise. This is something that I've created a Google spreadsheet for because I want you to actually think of one asset a day for 7 days in a row. You're going to write them down on the Google spreadsheet. I was proud when. Now, you don't have to contextualize the situation too much. You don't have to go into a huge amount of detail. You could say, I was proud when Fred gave me the blue file because. The because part is what's important. I want you to really flesh out, why did this thing that happened at work made you feel proud? Because that's the clarity that you want. It's not so much the event, it's why did the event that you did make you feel proud? And if you can go into detail on the because part, that, my friends, is going to be absolute power. It's almost like an archaeological exercise. It's like we're digging up these golden assets throughout our career and remembering them. Because if we don't stop, pause now, and do this reflective exercise, we might carry on in our career forgetting, and worse, being slightly oblivious to the things that we have done in the past that will continue to always deliver a high return to us, in the sense of it being a moment that we felt completely proud of. So the exercise is knowing this thing about career assets And then the first part is knowing that there's a thing called career assets and you have many career assets in you. The second part is then deciding when are you going to start your 7 days. Now, the reason why I say it's a stacking exercise and why I want you to do one a day for 7 days is because if you were to sit here for the next half hour, 45 minutes, and think of a bunch of career assets, you might think of one asset, but in 7 different situational examples. So you might think of one thing that you've done and the similar thing and a similar thing and a similar thing. I want you to think of one, forget about it, spend the rest of the day carrying on with your lives, and then the next day, think of another. So there has to be this moment of pause in between the thinking so that your brain going to synapse onto something, and then a whole bunch of magical things are going to happen in between before you think of the next one. Now, like all of our exercises, is this easy? Is this hard? These are definitely not the questions to ask. Can you do it? Yes. Is there's huge clarity and illumination on the other side of doing these assets exercise? 100%. So you're going to fill in the Google spreadsheet, choose when you want your 7 days to start, and it has to be 7 consecutive days. So it's a little bit of gamification, making it a bit of fun. You're playing against yourself and everybody else in the Career Strategy Club, but obviously your answers are completely confidential and therefore your eyes only and mine to see once you choose to share them with me. But by writing them into the Google spreadsheet, you're monitoring yourself one a day for 7 days. You choose when the 7 days is going to start. I don't want a pattern interrupt, so you can't do 3 days and then stop for 2 and then pick it up again. It has to be 7 consecutive days to really allow the ability of the stacking exercise to play in your favor. And trust me, it might be really hard. It might be, when I say it might be really hard, it's not that it is hard. You might get to day 4 and go, I don't have any. It's going to be harder if you don't do it all together in a week's time. So in other words, 7 days consecutively back to back. So that, my friend, is the career assets exercise, and I can't wait to see the information that you share with me. See you in the worksheet below.